AITA for calling her fucking difficult? Subscribe to our channel, like and comment. Long story short, my wife and I were evicted 2 months ago after the landlord sold the property. Given that my wife is a minimalist, we were able to rent out the smallest storage locker and fit everything inside, with the exception of one item, her recliner. We stored it over to my mom's house. We are currently living with my sister while putting in home applications and house searching. It's been a bit stressful because my wife is not a dog person at all and there are 4 pretty untrained dogs here, Aussie Shepherds, who shed like there's no tomorrow. My sister and her husband aren't exactly on top of cleanliness either, so there's piles of dog hair in the corners of the home that you could probably make a full rug out of. Well, my mom said I need to move the recliner somewhere because she needs to store some of her own items and doesn't have room. I told her I'd come grab it tomorrow. I came home and told my wife about it, and my sister suggested I bring the recliner there and just stick it in the living room. My wife said no, she was going to find storage for it. My sister didn't push the issue, but we don't have anywhere else to store it either. I told my wife later, when we were alone, that we didn't have anywhere else to store it, and she said she would have to figure it out because her recliner is definitely not coming here. When I asked why, she said I'm not having my one piece of furniture destroyed by a bunch of disgusting dogs. I want the recliner, and if I bring it here, it's staying here. I'm not willing to do that. I told her at this point she's being difficult because I need to move that chair and don't really have time for her to figure it out. She raised her voice at this point and said, "Do whatever the fuck you want then." I already have nothing, but sure, ruin my one fucking thing that I actually kept. She's still pissed at me right now. AITA? AITA for showing a spreadsheet of everything I pay for and showing their dad doesn't do shit. Subscribe to our channel, like and comment. Used the wrong there in the title, on my phone, sorry. Okay, I'm getting mixed opinions from this. 2 kids 13 and 11, I'm not going to lie, we live a pretty frugal life. All my extra money I make goes into their college accounts or fun weekends. Dad has them once a month and is the fun parent. Can't get his child payments in but willing to do a surprise trip to Kennywood. It's frustrating, all right. I try not to say anything bad about him, but he has been pushing the narrative that without him and the money he gives me we wouldn't have the home. It's so false, and now the kids are going, well, Dad pays for this. My last straw is when the kids told me that it's Dad who pays for the home. So I pulled up my budget spreadsheet and it includes all the stuff that he pays for, so child support, and he hasn't paid for the past 2 months. The kids were upset for being lied to, and the oldest get in an argument with him since she called to confirm. We got in an argument and he is calling me a jerk. My friends are split on this and I am wondering if I went too far. You have to sell me the house. Subscribe to our channel, like and comment. EP equals entitled person. Me equals me, college student. Background: years ago, when I was in college, my parents decided to sell their house and move into something smaller. Now, this was their dream home, 5 bedrooms, huge, on a small lake, and just all around a pretty sweet house on a nice lot. Now, my dad is a sales/marketing guy, so the story of how we got the house is he simply knocked on the door one day, was friendly with them, and told them if they ever wanted to sell that we would be interested. Years later they did just that, and it was between us and another family. Blind bid, and ours were higher. Bake to the present, when my parents decided to sell, kids moved out, too much house for the 2 of them, they ended up just directly selling to our immediate neighbor. She apparently had money, was very friendly, and we knew her pretty well. I guess she had always liked our house. Somehow word got out, and some entitled suburban people in the neighborhood were not fans of that. Shortly before the sale, I was at home for the weekend, doing laundry and watching the house/pets while my parents were away for the weekend. In the middle of the afternoon, I hear a knock on the door. I answer it to a stern-looking Karen type, and the conversation goes as follows. EP, is this house for sale? Me, no. EP, well, where are your parents? Stern voice, me out, I didn't know her and didn't want to give much to her. EP, well, I heard your parents are selling this house, but you just told me it is not for sale. Me, yep. EP, so it is for sale then. Smirking like she just won something. Me, no. EP, well, who are your parents selling this house to? Me, oh, it is a private sale, in a nice calm voice. EP, well, I didn't get a chance to buy it. Me, sounds like it. EP, well, that is not fair. They have to offer it to anyone in the neighborhood. Me, no, that's a lie. EP, but I want this house. I deserve this house. My family. Me, no, you really don't. With a chuckle, I cut her off. EP, they have to sell it to me. Me, no. EP, what is their phone number? I'm going to talk to them because you don't know anything. Me, yeah, you are not getting that from me. She could have easily gotten it and possibly a cell phone number for my parents from the neighborhood directory. EP, how dare you? Me, just like this, no. EP, well, give them this and tell them they have to call me to sell me the house. She handed me a business card. Me, you realize you have no say in who they sell their house to, right? And that your attitude is petulant and entitled? I then visually tossed the card over my shoulder and shut the door. Epilogue, she kept yelling something, I didn't care. I did tell my parents about it and gave them the business card. My mom knew her some and did not like her, for the same reasons. I later heard she came back and was trying to get me in trouble, but they turned her away, and apparently my mom chuckled when the lady was going off on how rude and disrespectful she was. She insisted to them that the HOA rules said they had to offer it to the neighborhood, untrue. Over a decade later, the neighbor they sold it to still lives there. I just love how she knew that she should get to buy the house. I had a blast with the interaction and got to shut down an entitled person. I worked retail at the time, so it was even more satisfying. TLDR, lady demands to me that my parents sell her their house, which was already under contract on a private/direct sale. I shut her down. AITA for forcing my stepdaughter to cut her hair? Subscribe to our channel, like and comment. I, 31, met my husband, 34M, 8 years ago, and we have been married for 6. He has an 11-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. I work from home, so I mainly end up taking care of her. I have since she was young. We have a generally good relationship. She stays at her mother's most weekends. She has incredibly long blonde wavy hair, just past her bottom. It's a nightmare to take care of. It frequently tangles, and she always needs help brushing and styling it before school. I'm not a morning person, and I do not like having to wake up early to do a kid's hair. It's expensive to maintain as she requires more products. She insists on using hair oils which can cost around $11 and only last a few weeks. She also insists she has to use curly hair shampoo instead of regular shampoo and conditioner, which is often over $10 per bottle. And she goes through it at a fast rate. She won't use a regular brush on it as she insists it breaks her hair and hurts, so she uses a wide tooth comb which takes a long time to brush when she could be doing other more productive things such as homework or helping me with chores. I decided she had become obsessed with her hair, and I do not want her to become vain, so I decided it needs to be cut. I don't see it as a big deal as I have always had shoulder-length hair, as my hair does not grow very fast and I get frequent trims. It's a lot more practical. I took her to the hairdressers as normal. In the car on the way down, she said she wants to make sure the hairdresser doesn't cut too much. I politely explained that I would like her to cut her hair to shoulder length as it has become a burden. At first she thought I was joking, but when she realized, she started to cry. When we got to the salon, the hairdresser was reluctant to cut her hair due to her tears, but I explained the trouble we have maintaining it, and assured cutting it would be best for her. In the end, the stylist agreed and cut her hair. The stylist braided her hair, then cut it. She kept it. Her hair was now just past shoulder length, and looked a lot darker. The car journey home was silent. I offered her McDonald's, but she refused. She went straight to her room when we got back. My husband went up to see her when he got home and apparently found her on her bed sobbing, holding her old hair. My husband immediately called her mother to come and collect her, and as soon as my stepdaughter was out the door, he started yelling. Her mother also came in and gave me a mouthful. I explained my reasoning, but my husband wouldn't budge. He said if I had issue he would have did her hair in the mornings, and that he didn't mind paying for the products. He was so furious he said he no longer trusts me around his daughter, and doesn't know if he can be with a woman who he doesn't trust with her. This broke my heart. I didn't mean her any harm, I was just so tired and I'm trying to reduce stress. I've always been the one to raise her and her brother, and I'm just exhausted. AITA? AITA for not giving my husband a single hour off on Father's Day. Subscribe to our channel, like and comment. My husband, 36M, and I, 33F, have been married for 8 years and have 3 kids, 5, 3, and a 1-month-old infant. I am currently still recovering from my planned C-section, and it is taking a lot longer than I had hoped. I am not on bed rest, but pretty darn close. Unless it's to go to the bathroom or changing or feeding my baby, I'm pretty much always sitting or laying down. I don't like it, but it's what my body needs to heal right now. Both my husband and I are still on maternity/paternity leave. Obviously, that means that pretty much every other aspect of our lives falls on my husband right now. He's been doing a great job of taking care of the older kids and making sure everything in our lives is running as smoothly as it can given our circumstances. He's also great about taking care of the baby and giving me breaks as much as he can. But I can tell it's starting to wear on him mentally and physically. Neither of us is sleeping well, and I swear he looks like he's lost more weight than I have since the baby came. Due to me being pretty much immobile, I can't really go out of the house to do anything without assistance. So I wasn't able to plan anything really fun for Father's Day. I did help the older kids make him cards and ordered him some nice steaks to cook though. I felt bad because for Mother's Day he bought me a 6-hour pregnancy spa treatment and took the older kids out of the house all day so I could have peace. But on the morning of Father's Day, I was feeling worse than usual as I had to strain myself the day before to pick up something off the floor and I aggravated my incision. So, I was laid up all day. Again, this meant my husband had to do literally everything that day. By the time he got the older kids to bed, I could tell he was irritated and upset. I told him to try and relax for a bit, but then the baby started fussing and he jumped up off the couch, grabbed a pillow, and screamed into it. I tried to calm him down, but he just kept freaking out about how he's at his wit's end and he needs a break and that I couldn't even find a way to give him a single hour of quiet on Father's Day. I started crying and he just looked at me and walked away to take care of the baby without saying anything. After he took care of the baby he came back to me and apologized, but he said he needs a break and he's going to talk to family about taking the older kids for a week or so and that he's just disappointed that his Father's Day was spent running around doing everything for everyone else. He didn't even get to cook his steaks, he ate cold pizza for dinner. I asked him what I was supposed to do because it's not like I can move or leave the house, and he said I could have looked into a sitter for the kids or made them sit with me and watch a movie for an hour so he could have just a sliver of time for himself. He said he feels like his needs are at the bottom of the list and he just wanted to feel like he matters for one day. AITA for having a surprise wedding at mine and my husband's engagement party. Subscribe to our channel, like and comment. Background: my father, 66M, suddenly passed away in February. It's been a big shock and adjustment for everyone. My now husband, 35M, proposed on my 33F birthday in March. He'd already talked to my mom and dad about it. I'm not a fan of big parties, so husband and I decided to do a small celebration for our engagement, have a nice meal at a fancy hotel, everyone can dress up. The more we planned and the more we talked about it. We thought it would be fun to just get married. We have been together for coming up 10 years. Neither of us wanted a big wedding, so we thought a small surprise wedding would suit us. Especially with my dad passing away, I didn't want a traditional big white wedding. We invited 10 people, my mom, sister, and her partner. His mom, dad, brother, his partner, and daughter. We also invited our best friends, who are also in a relationship. All goes to plan, everyone arrives, they are escorted into our reserved room where they see a sign saying welcome to the wedding of husband and OP. Everyone is surprised. Our officiant gets people in places. Husband and I walk in together. We get married. Both moms sign the marriage certificate. We go for our sit-down meal. Everyone seemed happy at the time, people were laughing, saying they should have expected it. We had a photographer there to catch their reaction, ceremony, and posed pictures after. We went away locally for a small honeymoon. When we have gotten back, both my mom and his mom have pulled us aside separately to say they were disappointed in us. That we had taken away their opportunity to be with us when we chose a venue, did wedding planning stuff. They are both especially upset they never came wedding dress shopping with me. Which I ironically didn't even do. I bought a emerald green 1950s bodycon pencil dress online. It was the first and only dress I tried on. AITA for taking away everyone's chance to be involved with the wedding?